Welcome to the Long Range Pursuit Podcast, presented by Gunwerks, where we learn about and share long-range shooting techniques, science, and gear.
All right, we're back on with another episode of Long Range Pursuit Podcast. It's a snowy, cold morning, and it feels like we probably should be out calling coyotes right now instead of in the podcast room, but
we should never be at work. We should always be calling coyotes.
when you live in Wyoming,
Yeah.
that's kind of par for the course. Yeah. Well, I think that's the topic today. So the guys watching, we've got a little special build here. The guys listening, you're going to have to use your imaginations or jump on the website and see it. But we're kind of introducing just I would call it like a short batch, special run little build that we're doing. I think there's only, 13 of these available or something like that, 12. Yeah. Well, one's here.
One here, and I'm not sure this one's going to be in the
Maybe
back.
maybe not for sale.
Yeah.
So we're calling it the Sheepdog. It's a 6 Creedmoor kind of coyote truck gun, all around build. We don't build a lot of 6 Creedmoors, but the guys I think that are 6 Creedmoor guys that are listening, their ears have probably already perked up a little bit because it's a really fun little round. Anyway, we'll kind of dive into that, but we've got Ben on today. We've got a guest, Jordan Zistel. You're the Revic optics or the rifle scopes product manager for Revic, right?
Yep. I'm happy to join the team. It's been, I think, about 5 months now, but here to talk a little bit about the new Revic Radical rifle scope.
Yeah.
Really awesome system, but happy to be on.
I mean, I think what we're going to find out is that Radical really is the core of the system here, right? I mean, you could put it on just about any gun, but that is really what's making this whole system really, really attractive, quick and easy to use and versatile, I think.
I think that's where the Radical shines, is in fast-paced situations where you don't have a lot of time or your targets are constantly moving. For sure. I think it's a good fit for coyote, varmint, that sort of thing.
Well, let's dive in. Tell me a little bit about like the kind of the story, the reason, the why behind how we configure this rifle and why, and what you think the application is. We can dive into some of the more specific details and features and everything else.
Yeah. Jim came into my office and he said, what do you think about doing more of a predator type gun? And he kind of had this build already in his mind. So it was a 6 Creed and 16-inch barrel, Gen 1 Magnus stock. And then we kind of talked about some of those other details and put the Radical on it and that sort of thing. He kind of had the idea, and I was pretty much in agreement with what suited the purpose of having kind of that compact, maneuverable, versatile type rifle that still fit the bill for like predators. Not that there's anything as such a thing as overgunned, but so those smaller calibers are fun to shoot and they have their place. So it's the rifle itself is a 6 Creedmoor with a Gen 1 Magnus stock. It's a carbon fiber stock. I know that a lot of the guys in the shop miss this stock at times. Like it's
all the old timers around the shop. Every time a Gen 1 shows up, we all love the current Magnus, but there's just something kind of reminiscent about the Gen 1 that everybody still loves that stock. You've got the texture on the grip, those, kind of that original flat toe line that we had in the original Magnus. And I mean, it still shoots every bit as good as it did back then.
Yeah, they're bomb proof, and every rifle you drop in them shoots lights out. And I forgot that I was going to bring that target in here, but speaking of shooting lights out, I took this into the tunnel and to get a good zero with it. And I quit shooting because I was scared I was going to screw it up. But it was a .37 shot group.
Really?
I mean, just 7 shots cut in one hole.
It's funny. I own several 6 Creedmoors. It's one of my favorite. Like, just when you want to grab a gun and just go shoot some paper or shoot some steel or whatever else, you don't have a really like dedicated, I need a big bullet to kill something big or whatever else. That round just freaking shoots. It always shoots. I don't know what it is. Probably part of it being in the Creedmoor case family that the Creedmoors always do, but those 6s, you get a little bit better velocity. It's really low recoil. It's just really great all round.
Yeah. and it's like versatile between different animals and getting your kids on it, your wife or new shooters. It's just easy to shoot for everybody. So
I mean, I guess I'm gathering kind of the premise was like a predator coyote gun, but a lot broader potential applications on top of that, right? Like kind of your everyday throw in the backseat of the truck just in case anything, right? I mean, you could go kill an antelope with it, whitetail.
Yep.
I watched Steve Speck from Exo Mountain Gear kill moose in Alaska on a video just the other day with the 6th Creed. Maybe not for everybody, but it can be done, right?
Yep. Yeah, I killed my mule deer this year with the 6th Creed too.
Right.
Yep. Yep. 300 yards and it went down as fast as anything else I've shot. So, I think for, those different states and seasons where you can hunt, all fall and you never know what you're going to run across, maybe this is your like just predator gun, but if you have it in and you happen to come across that big buck or whatever it is, still gives you that confidence with it. And we are shooting the 105 grain burgers, which are well known as a killing bullet. Other details on it, we did add a barricade stop and a AICS detachable mag. And I prefer detachable mags for my predator guns, just constantly unloading in and out of the truck, and I can throw in a spare mag in the pack if I need to, and
a few more rounds in your magazine just for
whatever. You get a 10 round mag or more if you go that route. It is a C60 carbon barrel, which that contour is what we put on our verdict rifles. It's slightly heavier than our Magnus C40 contour, so it is a bit heavier, 16 inches. And then with the 6-inch steel suppressor, it comes out to 24 inches, so it's pretty compact. And that suppressor we did color match to the stock in that sniper gray color.
So when you order that rifle, you can order it with that color matched suppressor if you want.
Yeah, specifically for this rifle, that suppressor is color matched for it. So, and I would strongly encourage going the suppressor out, especially if you're focusing on predators,
right, and particularly with a short barrel. So it's 16-inch. Is that what I'm? So tell me a little bit about the decision on a 16-inch barrel. I know why I've got 16-inch 6 Creedmoors, but maybe for our listeners, the trade-off there is velocity and maneuverability. I think is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. This particular barrel, we cut it down shorter, which you lose some weight. We gain some weight back with that verdict. So with the suppressor on it and that Arca rail, it balances nice on a tripod, but we still maintained the maneuverability that is nice to have when you're constantly swinging a gun on moving coyotes, or even if it's just getting it in and out of the truck, like taking it in and out in the dark or in and out of a case, or just setting it in the passenger seat, whatever it is, it's just so much nicer to have a short barrel on it. As soon as you get up into the 22, 24, 26, and then you put a can on it, it's too long. It's just a pain. So that was the main reason we went with that 16-inch.
Makes sense. You're doing what, 2750?
2750 is what I got. Yeah.
Which is plenty to get you out to 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it'll get there for sure. The Revic with the optics, which we'll dive into there, all the ballistics and everything else. It really is just a matter of a couple clicks. I mentioned I've got a shorty little kind of similar build 6 Creedmoor that I got my when I first got my son out hunting last year. I ended up putting him behind that because the recoil's low, it shoots great, it's a really compact little package, and it's been absolutely perfect for him. I mean, in his head, that is his gun, right?
Yeah.
And it's, it's so there's a lot of other applications beyond just that. I mean, if you want to put kids behind it, whatever else, it fits in a really nice compact little package, which I guess we should probably touch on the packaging. On that build too.
Yep. Just along that lines, I also often walk into a stand with the rifle on my back, or hauling a coyote out with the rifle strapped to the pack, and so having a shorter package there is nice too. Yeah, so we're also including with this package the new Magpul soft case. They call it I believe it's pronounced DACA SLR 53 soft case.
Yeah, they just launched those cases at SHOT here a couple weeks ago. They're right across the aisle from us at SHOT Show, so I got a chance to go over and look at and handle those new cases, and they're legit.
They're nice.
Yeah, the materials that they've got that they're building those DACA cases out of are incredible. So I think that'll be a really neat little package.
Yeah, and for those who haven't seen it, it's kind of a semi-rigid soft case, so it has a little bit of like a shell around it, so it maintains kind of a square form factor. They are weather resistant with welded seams and gear straps, so you can like for this rifle, I mostly just ran one strap for the muzzle, and that just kind of kept it muzzle up, my gun, pointed level. So just a nice feature. Also I think there's 4 elastic pockets and a zipper pocket on the inside. So
some really nice molle. It's got that kind of laser cut molle and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice little case.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet. I think perfect for throwing in the back of your truck, or if you're going on a hunting trip and throw it in the bed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What else do we miss? I don't know if I said it. It comes in at 10.5 pounds.
Okay.
And this is the RS25B, the Radical 25.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple other Radicals coming out, but you want to talk a little bit about that Radical?
Yeah, I'd be happy to introduce it. So within the Radical product family, we're going to have 3 different scopes. We have a 21B, which is 3.5 to 21, 44 millimeter objective on that scope. And then what we're showcasing today, this is really our most popular Radical, and this is the RS25B, 4 to 25 by 50. And then we have a much larger scope, which is a 6 to 36 by 56. And that top end 36B is actually the only scope with our grid layout RX2 reticle, also an MOA. But the 25B, we can get into it specifically, but this is a ballistic standalone rifle scope. So it's got a suite of onboard sensors on it. It has a magnometer, gyroscope. We can real time get basically data from the scope on temperature, air density, what's the shot inclination, what's the compass heading. It's pretty powerful.
It's pretty cool. On top of an exceptional optics package, right? It's top tier glass optics, everything. Right?
Yeah. Mechanically using it, it compares to a lot of
take the
battery high-ends.
Just about anything out there.
Yep. Take the technology out. It's great. Add the technology in here.
Yeah, it's got a tremendous amount of travel. 140 minutes of angle. Mm-hmm. And then we've got 3 revolutions. One of the features I really like is that rev counter. So there's 30 minutes of angle that you can travel per revolution. And that rev counter, which is actually on top of the elevation turret, will make sure that you're never losing track of where you're at. You can always return to 0.
Right. It's a non-raising turret, right? Which,
right.
For the guys that don't know, that is the preferred, usually a lot more expensive option, but mechanically much preferred over
it's a raising turret for sure.
Yeah.
And really where the aha moment comes when you're talking to people or introducing the Radical is when they get behind the scope and they're in the eye box, and you power on the scope with the 5-position joystick, and what you're going to see in the top of your field of view is a heads-up display, and it's an OLED display. It comes in 3 different display modes. You can pick base wind, vector wind, or full data display, but essentially you're going to see your shoot to distance, and then depending on where you're at on that elevation turret adjustment, it'll provide you a solution for your wind hold as well. So it's pretty remarkable, but you can imagine being with a spotter and he calls out, okay, I see a coyote at 400 yards. He just uses a simple laser rangefinder. And as the shooter, you're in the eye box and you don't even need to leave. You just reach up, you grab the elevation turret, and you spin it until you see 400 come up as a shoot-to range in the heads-up display. And then you can make an assessment whether there's any wind hold that you need to create in the scope, and then you take your shot.
Yep.
So it's incredibly quick.
Yeah, that's actually case in point. Yesterday afternoon, we went out to just snag a couple photos of this and come up over this rise, and Randy goes, "There's a coyote right there." So it starts running off, and the rifle's in the back seat. So get out, throw everything around, throw it out on the ground, and snagged a range at 460, dialed to the 460, and touched it off, and hit the ground. So that I had never used the reticle prior in like any sort of field setting. It's always been at the range. So it was actually pretty neat to see how quick the solution was, because I was just using I wasn't using the BLR 10Bs. I just had a standard range finding bino on me. And so I ranged it, and rather than waiting for that solution to come up, it was you save that second or whatever it is of seeing the solution, and then recognizing the solution, and then going to your turret.
Yeah.
This is hit it 460, drop into the scope, dial, and I'm not coming off of the scope at all.
All you need is a range, right? And on top of that, even an estimated range in a really quick pinch will work as well, right? I mean, you've got a coyote that pops up, and sometimes you've got a second when you that one over the shoulder look, right? If you're good enough to say, you know what, he's probably like 350, just bang, right? Instead of having to look at a drop chart or anything else, right? As long as you have a range, you're good to go.
What I found was nice. So I like predator hunting, so I reference it. But what I found was nice about it was when I'm using a standard optic, I'm usually ranging a few landmarks and going, my brain's saying 250.6, 425, 1.1. And I'm trying to remember those numbers. It was nice to sit down on a stand and go, all right, 350, 250, 400. And then that's all I have to remember. I don't, because inevitably after 15 minutes of sitting there, I go, okay, 350, was that 1.1 or was that 0.9? Like, what was it? Right. I can't. So inevitably I'm constantly going back to my bino regardless, trying to get that data. So, and then when that coyote's moving, 25 yards on a coyote can make a difference when you're past 400. So if you're able to just watch him move off a little bit and just say, that looked like about 20 or 30 yards. Yeah. You can just watch that yardage dial up. So that was pretty nice to use. So I did enjoy using it.
The other big scenario there is, either you're hunting with a buddy or a guide or someone else that may have a rangefinder, but probably doesn't have your ballistics programmed into their device. Now they can just tell you what the range is, and you've got everything. You're right. You're moving the in that kind of workflow scenario of, range, dial, shoot. You basically, all the ballistics, all the calculations are downstream in the device itself. And so once you have range, that's all you need, right? Yeah. It handles right for you.
That's precisely right. It's a good point, because that's really an important selling point, is that you don't need a smart, rangefinder, so to speak. You can just use any old rangefinder, hunt with your dad, that may not know how to operate the latest technology.
Right.
That's completely fine. In fact, all of the reticles Bluetooth connect to the Revic Ops app. So kind of going back to that versatility, you can create ballistic profiles with different bullets. Let's say you have I'm going to use this for antelope, or this is my predator round. You can create all those and quickly log into the Revic Ops app, update your ballistic profile, and head into the woods. You don't need your phone again after that.
Right.
It's a standalone ballistics calculation for each scenario you find yourself in.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool. Are there any other updates coming for the reticles other than those?
There's a couple other features that just popped into my head there. I was looking at the scope. You'll notice we do have like an external bubble level on the reticle there, but we do have a digital bubble level in the scope itself. So that's one of the features I really like, because installing bubble levels is not my favorite thing. I always have trouble getting them right on. So that's one thing we really love. And then if in the event you were to run out of battery on this, the elevation turret, you'll notice that top ring, call that a ballistic data ring. and that's custom engraved for your specific muzzle velocity, the environmental conditions you find yourself hunting in the most. And so you have a custom kind of backup turret etched right there for you, so you can quickly get a range and say, oh, he's 400 yards. Even if the scope was powered down and didn't have a battery, let's say, you could quickly dial to a solution. It would operate like a traditional rifle scope.
And you've got MOA and the BDC on those rings. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you've got backups on backups.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So there shouldn't be any fear about, well, I don't want to use this scope because, it might go down. I mean, we have backup solutions, operates just like a normal rifle scope if that ever happens. And then going back to your question, Ben, on what's coming, one of the things I'm really excited about is kind of within the Revic product portfolio, we're working a lot on integrating it into a full ecosystem. And the great thing about, the radicals is we have the ability to update them over the air. So we can update firmware, bring new features.
It's a big deal.
I don't want to get into it too heavy, but we are working on some like integration with other products in the Revic portfolio, and I'm really excited about what's going to come there. That's kind of a little teaser, I guess you'd call it.
The nice thing about those OTA updates is that they're reverse compatible with those new features.
Yep.
New releases. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about, well, I don't want to purchase it now because there might be something coming in the future.
Right.
Well, we got you covered.
Yeah.
By that functionality.
Pretty cool.
One other thing I will mention, when we discussed this at SHOT Show, there's a lot of excitement. And surprisingly, we have a lot of customers in Europe that are very interested in smart ballistic rifle scopes, and they traditionally have really appreciated and gravitated towards mill reticles, and that's one thing that we are pursuing. We have 2 reticle offerings currently, the RH2 and then the RX2, but both of them are currently in MOA. So that's one of the things we have on the kind of the product roadmap is to bring mill variants to both of those reticles.
Great.
Cool. Yeah, I could see the application for this in the competitive shooting world too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially with some of those updates that might be coming. Could work out really nice.
Yeah, the wind, like base wind and vector wind's really, really awesome too. Like within vector wind, I forgot to mention it, but it starts to account for all of your earth-based effects when you put in a wind speed and a wind direction. It's very simple. It's just toggling around a clock face so that you can kind of pinpoint where's the wind coming from, what's the wind speed, and all of a sudden I've got a ballistic solution that accounts for like arrow jump, all your earth-based effects like Borealis and Yobitos. It's a seriously advanced ballistic calculator, especially when you get into that vector wind.
Yeah.
Cool. I don't know if there's much else on.
No, I think, I guess we didn't mention, but it's a stainless action, right?
Yeah. Let's just go back through so it's all in one spot because we were kind of scattered a little bit. But it's a 16-inch 6 Creedmoor with a heavier contour carbon barrel. There is a color match suppressor option. That's a 6-inch steel Gunwerks suppressor. It's a custom Tectonic paint job on our carbon Gen 1 Magnus. Steel action. We did the Radical RS-25. That's a 4-25 ballistic scope. I put a one-piece rail on this so that if you wanted the option of having a thermal compatible mount, again, going back to the Predator thing, you can take off this scope and put on a thermal if you wanted to. There is the Arca rail, so easy to clamp onto a tripod, barricade stop with the AICS detachable magazine and bottom metal. And then I think that just about covers it. The bipod is not included with the main package, but the whole package without the suppressor, you're looking at $10,500, which makes the base price on the rifle actually really attractive once you add in the other features. So that's the Sheepdog in a nutshell, and there's only going to be 12 of them available for sale. they'll probably go quick if it follows the Krylon.
Yeah, with that few of them, it's going to be a one and done kind of thing, I think.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't. This isn't going to come back. I would like to twist Jim's arm a little bit and do a few more, do another configuration, maybe another couple options for a Predator build,
Sure.
but that's going to be probably months.
Yeah.
And this is if I can convince him to do it. So I don't know if it's going to happen or not.
for sure. Well, cool. I think probably the big thing is, guys, if this is something you're looking at, we'll launch this with the launch of the rifle. Give us a call, get one ordered, because they're probably going to sell it the first day.
Yeah.
About it.
Yep. Give us a call. I think we'll get it up on the website too. There will be, I don't know if you'll be able to purchase through the website, but there will at least be a page up so you can look at it and have all the features listed out in one spot.
So
Cool.
excellent.
Well, pretty fun. I'm excited to see what some guys can do with it. You've already put this thing to the test, and it's been tested on live animals.
Yeah. Yeah, this one.
We're in an industry where that's actually not a bad thing. So,
Yeah, it works.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for jumping on today, guys, and we'll catch everybody next time.
All right.
All right, appreciate it.
All right.
If you like what you're hearing here, please take a second and give us a 5-star rating and a positive review on iTunes or on your favorite podcast app. We appreciate your feedback and suggestions for topics you'd like discussed or questions you want answered on the podcast. You can reach out on Facebook or Instagram or send us an email to podcast@gunwerks.com. Also, be sure and check out our full offering of long-range gear at gunwerks.com. Use promo code LRP for free shipping on any order.